Point number 5. This is a big one. Judas didn't trust God's timing. He didn't trust God's timing. Let me explain. I'm going to take you for a little ride. Okay? Many scholars believe, and when I look at it, I'm with them on this. But many scholars believe that Judas really didn't have any idea that Jesus was going to be crucified by his betrayal. I know we don't see that in any of the Easter plays. I know we don't see that in any of the movies. Are you hearing me? But I don't think that Judas had any idea that Jesus was going to be crucified by his betrayal. And it really makes a lot of sense to me, because you need to follow me on this real quick. Because Judas believed that if he betrayed Jesus and brought soldiers to arrest Jesus, that somehow it would speed up the coming of Jesus' kingdom. What do you mean by that? That it would cause a revolution. Remember, one time they tried to force Jesus to be king, right? Because remember, they're under Roman occupation. And this is what the triumphal entry is all about. Remember the triumphal entry? When they laid down, Jesus came riding in on the colt, and they laid down their cloaks on the ground in front of him, and they waved the palm branches in the air, and Hosanna, Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Remember James and John's mom going up to Jesus, said, Lord, before you enter your kingdom, let one of my boys sit on your right, let my other boy sit on your left. Jesus said, you have any idea what you asking? Turning and looking at James and John, said, you guys think you can drink from the cup that I'm about to drink from? And they said, yeah, but they had no idea that Jesus was referring to the crucifixion. They thought Jesus was supposed to set up an earthly political kingdom. And the disciples were growing impatient when this was going to happen. If you've watched any of The Chosen up to this point, you'll see where they all thought that Jesus was going to overthrow Rome. They wanted a political kingdom because they wanted Israel rescued from Rome. Because listen, how many times have I told you, how do you defeat a king like Jesus? Somebody who doesn't need supplies. He can feed 5,000, which happened to be the number of a Roman legion, with 2 fish and 5 loaves. How do you beat somebody who doesn't need supplies? How do you beat somebody when one of his men get wounded, he just heals them? How do you beat somebody when one of your men get killed, you just raise them from the dead like you did Lazarus? Are you hearing me? How do you defeat that guy? See, Judas very well may have thought that he would push Jesus into setting up his earthly kingdom. But he never expected that this miracle worker would be arrested by these soldiers. Even though he led the soldiers to him, he thought that he was starting a revolution possibly. He never thought that Jesus would turn around and tell Peter, put up your sword. For those who live by the sword will die by the sword. It was all news to him. So Judas didn't trust God's timing. Listen very closely to me. God's plan without God's timing is pointless. It's pointless because we can't make God hurry up to do what we want him to do in our life. Have you ever tried? Doesn't work out too well, does it? We can't press God into doing things according to our timetable. We don't get to tell God, I'll give you 1 year to fix this. This lesson cost Judas everything. Because when you begin to take the timing of God into your own hands and say, I'm tired of waiting on you, God, I'll do it my way, you're setting yourself up for a disaster. Because this is where trust comes in. Listen, many of us have had a battle sickness. Many of us have had a battle disease and different things going on. Now, here's the deal. Do I understand why? No, I don't understand why. We stand on the Word of God. We believe in healing. We proclaim healing. And have we experienced healing? Yes, we have. But does God heal us every time? For whatever reason, He doesn't. Some things are just in His timetable. I don't know why. I got saved by God touching me and healing me. That's how I knew that God was real. He touched me and He healed me. Has He done it for me every time? No. Has He done it for me more than once? Yes. But I'll do it my way. It's setting yourself up for a disaster, because this is where trust comes into play. Not just the trust in God's plan, but you got to trust in God's timing as well.